keeps flowing, and hunters tools they be showing. The AI guild keeps them in clips that be glowing. Consistent on the daily, they bring Bitcoin news. Ethereum, Solana, and stacks another L2. Showcasing new projects and giving you clues. Just do your own research and don't give us abuse. When the people are informed, peace brings on the chat. Spotlighting guests and filling up your bag. The flag doesn't matter as long as you grab. Take the gold mic and let us know where you stack. From the underworld, the game has arrived. Bringing the game to satisfy the hype. Hunters come running, it keeps them alive. Scouring the planet for the treasures inside. Stacks improvement takes a sip. Innovate in the chain. Letting the community know is the name of the game. Spreading awareness and helping explain why Stacks is where it's at. We are pumping the name. Stacks is where it's at. Fast transactions are flat. The leading L2 is making maxes look bad. Stacks is where it's at. Fast transactions are flat. The leading L2 is making maxes look bad.
Every post is a signal. Give it fuel. Boost eggs, the social value layer.
Let's go.
DeOrganized media keeps the mind share growing in the morning with peace and
Love it when the music works.
Alpha keeps flowing, the hunters tools they be showing. The AI guild keeps them in clips that be glowing. Consistent on the daily, they bring Bitcoin news. Ethereum, Solana, and stacks another L2s. Showcasing new projects and giving you clues. Just do your own research and don't give us abuse. When the people are informed, peace brings on the chat. Spotlighting guests and filling up your bags. The flag doesn't matter as long as you grab. Take the gold mic and let us know where you stack. Up from the underworld, the game master arrives, bringing the games that satisfy the
Good morning, my friends. It's your old pal Peace Love Music with another episode of the Let's Go Good Morning Show, brought to you live by DeOrganized Media, in partnership with our amazing friends at Bitcoin Live Decentralized Broadcasting. It is Thursday morning, 22nd of January. Crazy how time's passing. It becomes more apparent when you actually read the news out daily and quote the date. Just it's like every day it's still like that was fast. Crazy, just crazy how things are going, how things run. Markets caught a relief bounce as tariff fears eased. Institutions pushed crypto ETFs and stable coins further into the mainstream. Corporations add Bitcoin to their balance sheets, and scrutiny intensified around AI transparency. That's what we'll be covering in the news today. I do want to remind everybody again, everything gets whipped up and people tribalize and they pick sides, and then they justify any kind of thing they do from, well, I'm representing the good side, so I can just do whatever I want and it's good. And that's not how things actually work. You don't pick a side and then do whatever and then you're morally good. That's not actually a moral position. A moral position is doing what's right regardless of what everyone else around you thinks. You're not supposed to seek approval of your actions from a tribe, any tribe. You're supposed to provide value to your tribe, create your tribe. We're constantly building our tribe. But doing bad things in the name of your tribe doesn't make you a good person, even if you think that that is the right thing to do. If it's a bad thing, it's a bad thing. So focus on doing good, not getting in a mic drop to support your tribe. That's the takeaway this morning. Friendly reminder, this is a news show. We're providing news and information, some education, some entertainment. I say hopefully, but I know that this is entertaining, like goofy and silly and fun. Some people enjoy that, and I do. I love hanging out with the Chads, and we would love more if you guys, we have a lot of close-knit people in the community. Anyone that ever wants to jump in and chat with us, this is an open community. We would love for you guys to join in, chat with me, GP, Hunna, and whoever else joins us. We have a bunch of people that do from time to time. But don't be shy. We're inclusive. So we would love to have you. And we're always looking to have more people to express and broaden our horizons and get more perspective out to our community. That's what we're here for, to let people know about what's going on and see things from a different way, and then hopefully grow together. That's what we're here for. Let's take a look at the numbers. Again, not financial advice. Always do your own research. Never invest money you cannot afford to lose. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not qualified to give you financial advice, but I will talk about it. Let's see what we got here. All right. This isn't the end of the world. A lot of you guys thought it was the other day. We're back under 90. The end of the world. No, I'm just kidding. It's 89,588. Under $3,000 for Ethereum. We are back up a little bit of green, but it's not as green as it was about 20 minutes ago. So we are down slightly from where we were when I looked at it last. It's mostly flat, slightly green. Canton, man. I don't know what Canton is. I don't have the time to find out. I suspect eventually it's going to rug, because that's what I expect all tokens that I don't know about that are making runs like that to do. But yeah, seems to be have some staying power. Stacks up just under 32 cents, up from went down to as low as 2999.2999 is what I saw for Stacks. So I think it'll actually rebound from there. It does look like we got at least a little bit of a bump up like almost 5%. Our top three gainers for the last 24 hours are Canton, Sandbox making a little bit of a run. That's interesting. And that's an old virtual reality world, meta world play. Interesting. Before Meta actually stole the term for Facebook. And Lighter's Lit, again, making it a little bit of a run. Render, that's nice. IMX, like to see these guys moving up. Some of these older, smaller bag holdings of mine, actually. I have a very small amount of IMX, small amount of Render. I don't think I have any Sandbox anymore, any Sand. And I definitely don't have any CC. I don't think I have any Arrow. I have no Pump. I would never touch that with a 10-foot pole these days. If somebody wants to, they absolutely can, though. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the news. Actually, you know what? Before I take a look at the news, let's jump into Tonero. Tonero is a great place to go if you're looking to do research on stacks and other Bitcoin L2 tokens. They have a lot of information. Formerly, Leo down 25%. Somebody took some profits. Interesting. Been a lot of chatter about Leo. And by the way, I was not the one that took profits, just in case anyone was wondering. It was not me. I hold Leo long term, and proud of that. But looks like a lot of green on here. Otherwise, pretty much everything in Stack is slightly green to pretty green. Flat Earth making a nice move. Satoshi AI with a little bump. Stacks at STSDX going up. We like it. Not a bad day for the ecosystem. All right. Now we will check out the news. Bitcoin prices are recovering, or are they, as gold retreats because a surprise framework deal just killed the tariff threat. The framework deal killed the tariff threat. Bitcoin prices moved higher today after a surprise international framework agreement. Am I the right one? Yeah, all right. Eased near-term tariff concerns, triggering a broader risk-on response across markets. Capital rotated out of the traditional safe havens like gold and back into risk assets, helping Bitcoin rebound toward the $90,000 level. The move highlights how closely crypto markets remain tied to global macro headlines. In recent weeks, tariff rhetoric and trade uncertainty had weighed on sentiment, contributing to defensive positioning and lower risk tolerance. Today's shift helped unwind some of that pressure, leading to short liquidations and renewed buying interest. Despite the bounce, sentiment remains cautious rather than euphoric. Fear indicators are still elevated, suggesting this move looks more like a relief than a confirmed breakout. Sustained upside will likely depend on continued macro stability and follow through from institutional flows rather than headlines alone. So pay attention to the headlines and the institutional flows, watch the ETFs, and see what actually is happening behind the scenes on the international side. This was about saber rattling and trade saber rattling. So we're not worried. The world will still turn, my friends. Thailand plans crypto ETF rules as institutional interest increases. So Thailand doesn't think the world's about to end, and they're looking to put together some framework for crypto ETFs. Thailand is moving closer to establishing clearer rules for crypto exchange traded funds, signaling growing institutional acceptance of digital assets. Regulators appear focused on creating structured, compliant access rather than limiting participation outright. Crypto ETFs offer institutions a familiar way to gain exposure without directly handling custody or on-chain infrastructure, while giving regulators greater oversight in response and reporting visibility. This approach reflects a broader regional trend toward integration rather than resistance. While timelines and final details remain uncertain, the direction is notable. Regulatory clarity has historically unlocked participation from asset managers and funds that require compliant investment vehicles in a fragile but improving market environment. Developments like this reinforce the longer-term institutional thesis for crypto, even if near-term price action remains volatile. My takeaway is this actually signals institutional adoption. The rest is fleeting. What consistently has been the case for the last year plus is that institutions, companies, financial establishments, and governments are adopting crypto and Bitcoin. That's continuing regardless of what else is going on in the headlines. Stake and Shake adds $10 million in Bitcoin to the corporate treasury. Still happening. Stake and Shake disclosed a $10 million Bitcoin purchase as part of its corporate treasury strategy, adding to the growing list of companies holding BTC on their balance sheets. While smaller than allocations made by major public firms, the move is notable because it comes from a consumer-facing brand outside the tech or finance sectors. The decision reflects Bitcoin's evolving role as a long-term strategic asset rather than a purely speculative trade. Corporate treasury allocations are typically made with long-time horizons and risk committees involved, signaling confidence in Bitcoin's durability. Incremental adoption by recognizable brands helps normalize Bitcoin's presence in mainstream financial strategy. While not every company will follow suit, each new entrant strengthens the narrative of BTC as a legitimate reserve asset across industries. People want it. More people are going to want it over time. That's the truth. So I messed up my. All right, there we go. I want to make sure I got Helen Parts and Brian O'Shea, their byline for this article that I used for our report today. This one is on Cointelegraph. Totally absurd. Quote, totally absurd. Circle CEO rejects bank run fears over stablecoin yields. Stablecoins were in focus at the World Economic Forum in Davos, where the CEO of Circle pushed back against claims that yield-bearing stablecoins could trigger bank-run dynamics. The argument centered on transparency and structure, noting that fully reserved on-chain stablecoins differ fundamentally from traditional fractional reserve banking. According to Circle, real-time reserve visibility and direct redemption reduce the opacity that often fuels banking crises. I'm going to say that again. According to Circle, real-time reserve visibility and direct redemption reduce the opacity that often fuels banking crises. Yield in this model is framed as asset-based rather than leverage-driven. The debate comes as regulators weigh how stablecoins should fit into financial systems, with stablecoins now systemically relevant. Discussions around yield, risk, and oversight are increasingly shaping future regulatory frameworks. The slam dunk here is real-time reserve visibility and direct redemption reduces the opacity that often fuels banking crises. This is the inevitable, actual, fundamental reason we want to support stablecoins. I know people look at it as a control mechanism, but it goes both ways. And that's why there's opposition to it. Most of the opposition isn't about it being used to control you. They already have digital means to do that. They already have a digital dollar. The dollar is a digital currency now. It's controlled centrally by them. This takes away some of that control and some of the ability to obscure what they're doing with the dollar. This is better for people, most people. AI hiring firm Eightfold sued over alleged secret scoring of job applicants. I don't quite understand. AI hiring firm Eightfold is facing a lawsuit over allegations that it secretly scored job applicants, raising broader concerns about transparency and accountability in automated decision-making systems as AI tools scale across hiring and other high-impact use cases. Scrutiny around how decisions are made is intensifying. An issue is whether applicants were adequately informed about how AI evaluated their profiles and whether those systems introduced hidden bias. Critics argue that opaque black box algorithms can influence real-world outcomes without meaningful oversight. The case reflects a growing push for clearer governance standards around AI. As adoption accelerates, companies may face increasing legal and reputational risk if transparency and explainability fail to keep pace with deployment. So I don't see a reason why they shouldn't be scoring applicants. That seems to be the whole purpose of an AI hiring, is that it would score the applicants so that the best applicants get presented to the hiring manager so that they can make a decision, and it abstracts some of that decision making from them. I don't understand what the hidden bias that they're actually concerned about, other than that they just can't check to make sure. This seems, I can see that there could be some kind of oversight if it was all put on the blockchain. But I also, there's some information that can't be on there, that can't be tied to candidates, that shouldn't be tied to, some of that personal information needs to remain personal. So I'm not sure what, unless we've actually shown that there is a problem, all we're worried about is that we can't look over their shoulder and see what they're doing. And is somebody really worried about what's the bias that's being actually accused here? Or is it just a general concern? I don't know. Anyway, that's my opinion on it. That is the last news story for the day. Let me actually, real quick, just want to remind everybody that BitFlow is the place to go if you're looking to trade stacks, STX, USDC, BTC, SBTC, runes, USDCX, USDH, HBTC maybe coming soon. Who knows? Anything you can trade on stacks on Bitcoin, you can trade on BitFlow, and you're going to get the best swap rates because they aggregate the best prices across the ecosystem. Stacks is where it's at, and BitFlow has you covered when you're looking to trade on stacks and in Bitcoin. That's bitflow.finance. Check them out today. Let me bring on the homies. GP.
Good morning, Peace. Happy
Good
Thursday,
morning, brother. Happy Thursday. Look, we got, all right. How you doing today, man?
Doing good. Feeling blessed. It's a good start to the day, man. Just handling the business. You know how it goes.
I do. We got 300 and 300. How you doing today, brother? Somebody taking a minute.
3.
What's good? What's happening?
What's up?
What's
How you
happening,
doing?
GP? What's happening? Peace, love. What's happening, crypto, dude?
We have an old friend in the house. We
What
got
up?
Crypto dude. What's happening, man? How you been?
All right. Well,
I know
better
these guys
now.
see you all the time because you guys are like a death squad walking around Arc Raiders all the time. But I don't.
Yeah, we getting down
I
on
don't
our
get into
critters.
that.
I've been taking a break on it the last a little bit. Playing it too much.
The GMFL, man.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been lots of fun.
Love it. What are you
Yeah,
cranking on?
I am hammering on Boost X, of course. Adding features on the regular. We've entered version 3 plus. And recently we added some integration with Zero Authority. Zero Authority bounties on space drops. You can basically copy the Zero Authority bounty URL and add it as add it to the list of recipients, basically, and you can space drop everybody that's been a submitter to a bounty. It'll automatically add them to the list. But the most recent thing I've been hammering on is this boost timeline right here on the main timeline on X. So basically, we've now got the activity feed basically of Boost X right here on X. So let me
Hold on. Am I missing something?
let me share. I'll share.
I might not have seen this.
No, this is real new.
Okay, I definitely haven't seen it then.
No, you haven't seen this yet. Hold up. Let me share my screen here.
Let's go.
Let me change this view here. All right. So as you can see, Boost X, disconnect. We got the leaderboard baked in here. That's new too as well. So we can, if you update your BNS zone file, you can have a little bit more customization of what's presented here for all those leaders, FYI. But right here is what I'm talking about, the Boost tab, the Boost timeline. So we click this. It's going to load the Boost activity. Now, we got some emoji decoding we need to put in there still, but you can get an idea of what's happening now. We are able to see the activity of the boost. So like you can see, these are Find2Earn for the recent Find2Earn from yesterday. We can hit view post, bring us into the post that was boosted, bring us back to home.
That's fire, dude.
It's a little. It might be a little bit unstable at the moment still. Cause I need to probably wait for loads here.
So BoostX becomes like its own little timeline. You can go and look at the different posts that are getting boosted.
Yeah, it's gonna be still probably another day or so before I push this live. It's still a little bit unstable, but you can get an idea of what's kind of coming down the pike. We're trying to give a timeline of content exposure. It's not subject to the centralized algorithm of X, and Grok. We can basically do it based on on-chain activity, right? We can actually use the signal that is people putting skin in the game to boost an actual tweet. We can use that to surface the discovery of that content, right? So pretty excited about this.
Awesome. Do I need to update my app, or is it automatically updated? As I think I have.
If you have yours set to automatically update, it will automatically update once I push, but this is not yet available. There's some features that are available, like this update here. That's at like 3.0. This is in like 3.3. So like still in the next couple days before you'll be able to see this timeline, this boost timeline. But I'm trying to give people a little preview. Make sure people know we're still hammering. We haven't been sleeping, just playing freaking arc raiders. But
yeah, no, this is looking great.
Well, I was gonna say I didn't think that you guys were sleeping and just playing arc raiders, but now that you mention it, I guess I couldn't be entirely sure.
I mean, we've been playing arc raiders. Don't get me wrong, it's been fun, but we've been hammering on a lot of fronts. We've been hammering on BoostX. We've been hammering on stack spots.
Cryptonauts.
Cryptonauts obviously too. Let me pull up stack spots here.
I gotta get in the test net on stack spots too. I'm behind on that.
So let me switch to test net here.
I got into the Discord and that was it.
So hold on 1 second.
This is super cool, dude.
Yeah, dude. We have been cooking on a lot of fronts. So, Cryptonauts, obviously, GameFi, huge unlock there. Stack spots we're super proud of as well. This is basically a way to have more fun stacking as a community. So let me change my network here just to. And we can technically do this on mainnet, I guess, actually. Now that I think about it, what am I doing? We just enable this on mainnet. Or actually, I gotta have leather. Hold on.
It's on mainnet now?
There is one pot on mainnet, yeah.
Oh, dope.
We're like testing the waters, getting that foot in there. Or actually, you know what I'll do? I'll just do it on testnet here, though. Actually, give me 1 second. I gotta disable and enable.
You gotta handle the business. Yeah, big shout out to Crypto Smith, man. Been hammering.
100.
Actually, you guys can pull this up too. Just go to stackspot.app.
I'm on that right
let's
now.
actually have you do it. You know what I'm saying? It'll be better because I've already deposited into the thing, so it's kind of gonna be like limited. You're gonna be limited on what you're gonna be able to see from my point of view.
I'm also already like stacked in the. So let's see Peace do it live.
I'm not yet. I've been stacks pot slacking. Slack spot over here.
Slackspot.btc.
On Slack spot, bro.
Beat me to it. I own Slackspot. I have to.
I'll get it for you.
So you'll want to use leather.
There we go.
Yeah. And the pot might have already started on the mainnet one.
It's under
main. Yeah, it is. Man. Okay, go to testnet. Log out. Hit log out, and then it's the red button right there, and then change your wallet setting and that drop down setting. So go to your wallet settings, network config too.
All right, so I'm in my wallet, change network, testnet. Doesn't matter which one, 4, 3, 2, whatever.
No.
Nah.
Connecting. All right. So whose is the best one?
Let me.
I think I have.
On there. So can you move us to the right, GP? On the screen share, so we can actually see the cards
right over
so you can see what we're doing.
Yeah.
Push it to the forefront. Boom, boom,
Okay,
boom,
I guess
boom.
yeah, the pots are kind of already in progress, so you kind of don't really get to see the full swing of things here, but we can walk it through kind of like from a visual point of view. First off, the thing you want to notice is that the pot yield distribution box up there in the top right breaks it down. Winner gets 90%, starter gets 2%, creator gets 5%, closer gets 2%, platform gets 1%. So that's the yield distribution for each pot.
Is this static, or can the creator adjust this?
No, this is the configuration of the pots that are jackpot types. So this is, that is something we thought about, and that may be something we implement in the future, but we're trying to just build out the primitive more than anything, right? And then, expand the feature set from there. So the main thing here is basically we've already kind of joined the pot. Basically what a user does is, they'll create a pot. They'll basically set, essentially the parameters of the pot. People will then come join the pot with the minimum amount. Right?
So what happens if I click start pot?
You can go ahead and do that. It's just going to prompt you to call the start function. That's probably old, actually, because some of these are out of sync with the UI a little bit.
So it's telling me it's gonna transfer 50 STX, which is, it's just a test transaction, so I don't care. But that's what it's supposed to do?
Yeah, it's so when you're basically starting the pot, you're basically saying that you're from the pot's point of view, you're stacking what's in there. That's what starting means. You're basically starting the stacking protocol. So yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit of bugginess with a couple of this. So I just wanted to show you guys the UI mainly and how this will flow. User will create, pot. There's going to be a button up there at the top next to the little globe. They'll create a pot. They'll set the parameters of the pot, which is, essentially how many seats, aka how many entries, and then what the minimum amount is per, and then those combined equals essentially the target, amount basically. Once basically the users join the pot, somebody will come along and start the pot, and then that essentially locks the funds in the pot into the stacking protocol via Fastpool. Right.
So the pot gets, all right. So I'm a user. I want to join. I want to participate. I want to put my STX in there so I get a chance at the rewards.
Yeah, we'll just basically join pot.
I'll click join pot.
Type in a number, like type in on that, type in 50.
Okay.
And then hit join pot.
I see now.
No, this might. Yeah, this might be a little. This might be a little buggy. So
these names of these pots.
Yeah. So basically, at this point, you've entered the pot. You have a seat in the pot. You have even odds to however many entries there are. So currently, there's 2 entries. So you have a 50% odd to win the pot. Now, if you had 100 people in the pot and they all hit the minimum entry, you won, you're effectively hitting 90x the yield you would have yielded if you had just solo stacked otherwise. So 90x yield opportunity plus 3, if you're the creator, you're getting 5% of the yield. If you're the starter and the closer, you're getting 5% or 2% of the yield each.
So the starter is the first person that puts the
first person to click that start button, basically.
All right. So now, because there's 2 people in there, we could start this pot. Is that accurate?
Technically, no. On this one, it's still not really. The UI is a little. This pot is like kind of based on the old version, and the UI right now is based on the newer version, so it's a little bit wonky. But basically, you'll have to hit the threshold. They'll have to hit basically the threshold to start the pot, and it's kind of a little bit of a watch it. Maybe do your join pot right at the last second, so that way you can then hit start pot right there, right after it, or maybe wait till it's right at the thing and just try and time it. So there's a little bit of competition there in the starting and the closing, for sure. But,
so
to ensure that the process completes.
The pot isn't tied to cycle times.
No, it is. When you start the pot, that's locking the funds in that pot into the fast pool, and then that's for one cycle. And then after that cycle completes, the yield is basically returned to the pot and distributed to the randomly selected winner of the participants of the pot.
And that pot stays as a pot, and then someone can come along and start it again.
In terms of reusability, is that what you're asking?
So once all right. So let's start from the beginning. I create a pot. Mm-hmm. I'm a creator.
Your funds are returned if you don't win the pot, what you put in.
Right. You're not risking the funds you're putting in. You're just risking your yield.
Exactly.
For stacking. So, but as a creator, I create a pot. And, I might want to maybe promote that pot to get participation as the creator. And that's why I'm earning maybe some fees from the pot because I created it and I have some responsibility there. That's my incentive for even creating the pot and getting participation. I'm going to sell as the creator. I'm going to tell people that they have an opportunity to 9x their yield.
Not 90x, 90. Not just 90, because you're getting 90% of the yield, and it's an equal opportunity on odds. It's not a weight-based.
Well, it depends.
Odds.
I guess it actually depends on how many people are in there.
Yeah, assuming that's a full 100 users per pot.
Right. So if you have 100 users in a pot. Right. All right. Yeah. So is that the typical number of entries? 100?
Not really. I mean, we're stupid early on this. This is stupid.
No, I meant usual. I really meant is that like the target or the goal?
Yeah, target. Yeah.
And so and that
is more than that if we want.
So this here it says 3 out of 50. This here it says 2 out of 100. That's the seats for that, or the
exactly.
Okay, so I set that as the creator.
No, I would like to point out that where it says lowest odds on the one that says for the King's pot, that actually should say 1 out of 52% because it's a max of 50 entries. So there's a slight. This is what I was talking about, the version differences.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. This should actually be a 1 in 50% chance, not a 1 in 100% chance. Or not a 1 out of 50, not
exactly a 2% chance for your lowest odds, because if the pot the entries of the pot are fully maxed out, there's 50 people in there, then you have at worst case scenario 2% chance, because this is not weight based odds, and you can put in more than the minimum amount, so people can basically make the yield greater than just the multiplicative of the minimum entry times the entries.
And so this would be more or less a 45x on your expected yield.
Yeah.
You win this pot and it's full.
Basically, yeah.
But I can actually start the pot at any time before it's full.
No. I mean, on this technically possibly, yeah, but the intended design is to have it reach a certain threshold or
That's when the button
reach a
pops
certain timing we wanted to kind of hit, be able to hit start pot if it hits the entries max, or allow the user to hit start pot if the window for the cycle entries is starting to close and you want it to enter into the immediate cycle.
But the logic will probably have it be like you have to have a certain percentage threshold of the maximum number of seats to make it. So you can't do it at 3, but maybe you can do it at 26.
Exactly. Yeah, that's just I guess you'd say the threshold logic. That's still kind of it depends on the intent of the pot, whether or not it's one cycle or whether or not it's going to be more than one cycle. Because if you're going to have it more than one cycle, then you got to think about, okay, well, let's make sure that thing gets full so that's maximum, so you can afford to wait, probably one cycle if it means you're going to actually fill out your seats 100% versus 50% if you're shooting for a big pot, so there's a I guess you'd say most definitely some clarity that needs to be probably resolved there, but it's well along the way. I mean, that's just more or less like when do we want to expose this button?
But I think I understand how it's supposed to function. No, I do like it. And again, just from the creator perspective, so I would be back to on
the creator perspective. Yes, you would be getting 5% of the yield no matter who won, right? And also on the creators, that's in the terms of a jackpot type. On the creator perspective, we also have plans for another type, which is a crowdfunding type of pot where the winner is predefined. It's not randomly selected based on
more of a fundraiser.
Exactly. So that way everybody can come together and stack behind an idea.
That's a great idea. I wonder.
Yeah, that's what actually this has been one of the core primitives that we've been.
I love it. Yeah, it's great
to also integrate with BoostX down the road for taking basically BoostX to the next level, where we're going to be able to leverage the coordination and power of a social network with the crowdfunding possibilities of the blockchain, right?
When will I be able to, speaking of BoostX, when will I be able to send a boost to everybody that's tuned into the live stream?
Everybody that's tuned into the live stream, like
that has a BNS name.
It's like chatting in the chat.
Nope, they're just tuned in, watching it on X.
We should definitely
being able to discover that.
And like that
it's all about being able to discover the viewer data, like who the viewers are, right? From you're talking about sending as a
space drop, but instead of attending a space, they're actually tuned into the live stream.
I get what you mean, but that data has to be presented somewhere,
right?
It has to be either provided via an API, which we just seen what Twitter did to the API holders for a bunch of InfoFi projects. They just all got freaking rugged. Kaido and CookieDAO and all those guys, they just got rugged because Twitter yoinked their freaking API keys that they're paying premiums for. So
because it was causing spam on the network. They were encouraging people to.
I get why they did it.
No value.
I totally get why they did it. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we have a pay to use model with BoostX, because we don't want to encourage spam. We want to encourage high quality content. We want to service high quality ideas.
Right. Well, that's
based on value.
Right. And or engagement in a way that is valuable. Well, like a space drop is for attendance to a space, which is valuable. So you can drop it to everybody. And that would be the same thing where if I could do something where daily.
Well, we could in theory potentially do something where it's monitoring the real time chat that's going on with people that are watching the broadcast. Have everybody do a thumbs up or some sort of emoji or something like that you're monitoring for a I guess you'd say a narrow scope of time, like do a thumbs up in the chat, and then everybody does thumbs up in the chat. If they have a BNS name, it detects it, and then, temporarily caches the name to memory, and then compiles that into effectively a space drop. So that it's all about being able to discover the users' names, the BNS names. That way we can translate those into the payment addresses and, compile the transaction basically.
So is there,
cool.
because it tracks, I know X is tracking views of the live stream and who's watching. I don't know exactly how or where, if that's sourceable information.
It's sourceable two ways. It's sourceable either via the client DOM of the sender or via an API. And the API is subject to keys being revoked by the API service provider. And so because Twitter's timeline's not an open graph, we can't reproduce the data in a public manner to have competitive nature with that API. If Twitter was really honest about what they're, we just made our API open source and blah, blah, blah. No, if they were really honest and in their take about trying to make it fair and transparent and yada, 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 they'd make it to where anybody could reproduce and host the API that their network is based on. Basically, they would operate in a truly transformative manner where the transactions are not only publicly available, they're permissionlessly available, and they're verified, and their chronology is verified. That would make it to where the little card shuffle of attention that they like to do is less gameable from all points of view. We don't want people manipulating the algorithm to, piss away people's attention. We want people's time and attention is the most valuable asset. GP says this all the time. And it's the truth.
True. And so it does make sense that we can reward them for tuning in.
Reward them for tuning in, exactly, and then also help mitigate bad behavior by having better of alignment of incentives between content creator, content platform, and content consumer. So if you have a better alignment between all those, then spam solves itself. But that requires the walled garden to be broke down a little bit, and that's that requires the surrendering of some of the power. So blockchains offer innovative solutions where we can, attest content.
If only someone were developing a on-chain
decentralized content network.
If only there were. I wonder. We do need someone to build that out.
We got one dude building it all, man.
Do it for us.
Me and Crypto Smith built out Derupt a while back.
Oh, I've heard of that one actually.
Me too.
Yeah, and that's actually what led to a lot of BoostX feature set. We built it out in left field. We were out there, picking daisies, and everybody's like, "Hey, we're over here in centralized land." We're like, "Okay, but we're over here in decentralized land. You want to come play with us?" And they're like, "No, there's no content over there." So we're like, "Fair enough, fair enough. That's a fair take." So, we kind of met the user where they're at. That's BoostX. We're on the X. We're building the timeline. We're trying to basically build the timeline in parallel to build it in a decentralized way, leveraging the centralized funnel. And then, as the timeline kind of comes together, we'll be able to, have an open graph for the social, content. Like basically what we suffer from right now as a society is the algorithm is centralized and it's not even so much as centralized. It's not transparently centralized. It's not transparently verifiable. It's just like there's literally a content feed that is, subject to some board's policy rather than just based on, the consuming user's settings or preferences and or some sort of global chronological ordering. Yeah, that's DREP right there. Content feed powered by smart contracts built on stacks, permissionless monetization, integration with BNS and NFTs for profile pictures. When you create content, you're mining for crypto cash. This is all stuff we built. I want to say like 2 years ago.
It was over a year ago that I was playing on this.
Yeah, and a lot of this has transitioned its way into BoostX. So the features like transferring tokens when liking content. Now we don't have like a full spectrum of sentiment like we do on DREP. DREP had a full spectrum of sentiment.
Well, and it's all about just iterating and figuring out what you can do and can't do and what you need. And I actually have been playing a little bit with what Rafa has been building out on Pillar, which initially it covers a couple of different things. The purpose, and it was a project by Grant and Rafa together. Grant was looking for a way to basically make the onboarding process into using Bitcoin leverage to acquire Bitcoin more streamlined and easy and with less friction to overcome fear. And so, but the front piece is a smart wallet where you go to the website. You don't have to have a Stacks wallet. You don't have to ever get a Leather or Xverse wallet. You create your account. You get a passkey wallet. There's all sorts of programmability within that. It's basically a smart wallet. Within that wallet, there's all sorts of security and programmability. So Pillar is essentially the Pillar app is an extension application that basically creates an extension inside of the smart contract. You can actually set an admin Stacks account to be your like backup wallet that you can use it to recover if you have an issue with your passkey. You can reset your passkey. There's all sorts of other parameters, spending parameters you can set inside the wallet and stuff like that.
Nice.
We're even working on potentially a fiat on ramp, so you can you can bridge in Bitcoin very easily, and then it converts it to SBTC for you. And then when you want to leverage it, it puts it right through. It puts it into Zest and leverage it, borrows against it. So now you have about 50% more Bitcoin than you had when you deposited it, and like with a pretty healthy. It's a risk situation, but more interesting to me is not the Bitcoin and the yield, but the smart wallet and how that makes onboarding into any little smaller app that has just one function super easy. And it's just a matter of if they already have that smart wallet on their account, you can actually just make it so that your app is an extension. It gets permission from the app from the wallet to install an extension on there. It gets permissions, and then
Smart wallets are most definitely ahead of the curve in a lot of senses. I do worry about sometimes the user experience being watered down to the point where they get a little too comfortable and forget where their security, just as long as they don't forget about the private keys and make sure that they have access to, export their private keys.
Well, and that's part of it. And I totally understand what you're saying. So the thing is that onboarding people into crypto, you're going to get more people onboarding into crypto if they don't have to think about and all of that. And the smart wallet doesn't give you the keys like you can so the plan is like you have other educational stuff on the applications where people are starting to put more funds where they need to be more secure and more safe. You start explaining to them the value of self-custody, writing down seed phrases, hardware wallets, cold storage, and stuff like that. But if you're trying to put that up front in the process, you're killing your onboarding funnel. So what you need right up front to get is a really a low lift. I think like leveraging Bitcoin is not necessarily probably the best onboarding experience for someone that's never used crypto before, but onboarding them into a social media app or a creator platform or like a smart shop, like what Boom's doing, and onboarding them into that experience seamlessly. So they're looking at, like with the smart shop, they don't have to know they're even using crypto. If the fiat on ramp is available to just on ramp them into USDC and cover that process on the back end, where they're just giving a credit card, processing it through a payment provider, and everything else is abstracted away, and they're just buying the Boom T-shirt or the Gigapepe NFT or the 300 song, and 300 is getting USDC, or maybe it's even programmatically converting it to SBTC for him if that's what he prefers. The user that's buying his stuff didn't actually have to know they were using crypto at all.
Yeah, I get where you're going with it. Like, to me, I'm excited about extensibility for sure. Like that's a huge thing for me, because the user is always going to have different needs, and being able to plug and play and have as frictionless experience for the user as possible with retention of as much authority and ownership as possible. That's the happy medium, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's the balance, is that once you bring them in and once you get them into that into the ecosystem, you got to keep creating those educational opportunities to expand their awareness, so that they know that they have the app, they have the control over the funds, they have the control over the wallet, and what that actually means. But at first, we just want them to pay us for Hana's music,
Well, now we got the means. It's permissionless. So, I think what's interesting, and I guess combination of use cases or combination of technologies is when we combine basically a Signa, we have a Signa multi-sig vaults, right? And we combine that, we already have that integration with BoostX, and then when we take that integration with StackSpot and make it to where we can do crowdfunding, a crowdfund type, also integrated on X. So basically we'll be able to merge crowdfunding and multi-sig and social networks. So we'll be able to spend money as a group on a social network and earn money as a group on a social network. And coordinate our efforts behind specific ideas that are represented in, from a, I guess you'd say a multi-sig point of view and a stacking, like a collaborative stacking point of view.
Well, and that's actually with the Pillar wallet. One of the things we were talking about last night is some of the functions, like you have an admin. So I have my Peace Love Music.btc set up as an admin account for my Pillar Smart Wallet. So I have the passkey. I need to actually have the passkey and the admin account to do certain, like to change my passkey or add another passkey or add another account. I need to have access to both. There's like a cooldown period where it's going to be variable. He has it set for 24 hours right now, and I suggest you might want it longer for non-crypto native users, where if you change your passkey or you ask for a new passkey, right now it's a 24-hour cooldown period before it'll actually issue the new passkey. So if you discover somebody did that maliciously, you still have access to both of your admin wallet and your passkey. You can go and cancel that information. I suggested 7 days might be better. And then that will actually be a user variable type of thing. So same thing with a multi-sig. You can actually create a multi-sig right inside the smart wallet eventually when that functionality will be there. So there'll actually be all sorts of user controllable parameters within the wallet that'll solve all of these things that they can actually access. And then it'll, obviously you need to have a Lether or Xverse wallet to create an account so that you have a backup admin account attached, but you don't necessarily have to have that to start and use the app. So it abstracts while actually adding more security functionality, it seems, capacity wise. There's trade-offs obviously too, like you're giving up a little bit of control because you're providing the signature, and so like you're not getting post conditions notifications externally. I guess there's transaction side post conditions and then in extension post conditions that
there's transaction post conditions, and then there's essentially smart contract
contract. So that's so in contract, so that and that's so you don't have as much, you're not getting the post conditions report necessarily when you're using the smart wallet, because you're just providing the signature with a pass key.
I get there's a lot of merit to lowering the friction for sure, but at the same time, I know that a user is going to not have a problem writing, those words down if what they're doing on the other end of it is fun enough and rewarding enough. They'll go, oh, okay.
I disagree with you, man. That's the thing is that you don't have enough time. Yes, it does show
enough time. You don't even have to back it up right then and there. You can literally skip next. You could do everything you're talking about in terms of setting up a wallet and skipping the backup process right now and just creating the wallet basically in a couple clicks and signing in.
You don't even have the pass key, so you can't recover it if you don't write it down and something happens. That's less safe in my opinion.
Yeah, but like there's like a give and take here. Like, so there's
it depends on your definition of safety. If your definition of safety is appealing to a third party for authority of recovery, then yes, it's using a pass key to smooth over the onboarding is probably more logical. But if your definition of safety is reinforcing responsibility, then self-sovereignty and
there's
prioritizing backing up private keys is the better way.
It's not just about safety. It's about making it easy for people to onboard too.
Once again, the friction is not the barrier to entry for users. It's fun. Like, you got to have more fun shit to do. GameFi is the key. I hate to say this and sound like just a big old gamer nerd here, but if you got the ability to log in a ton of users via games,
you have to have a fun experience attracting them to even try it. You have to have a fun experience to attract them to even try.
We want to attract the smart upcoming Zoomers, not the boomers that are already stuck in their ways that don't have any incentive to do anything new.
We want to attract
you know what I'm saying?
Anyone that's going to have a valuable experience onboarding, and however we can provide that experience is what we want, because we need we need more transactions on chain, period, however we can get them.
Yeah, the way I look at it, it's more options. We need more options, period.
Well, I look at it like the older crowd is going to do typically more investment style transactions, aka they want to return on, they want yield, right? And lots of yield strategies are very highly optimized, aka not very transaction rich, aka they're going to do one transaction, set it and forget it, like a freaking like a Ronco freaking rotisserie chicken. They're going to set it and forget it and just take that yield and walk. And that's fine, whatever, they're adding to the network, I get it. But if we want regular consistent transactions, we need to have regular and consistent things that are being done and integrated on chain, which includes in-game transactions, whether or not those are achievements or assets changing hands because I want that skin, you want that skin. There's all sorts of ways that we can increase the transaction volume of the network without having to appeal to you know, institutions, and without having to appeal to big old whales, and without having to appeal to basically, you know, the big bags.
Right, but we do need to appeal to passive retail users.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. That's
Because those can turn into active retail users.
exactly. So but that's the thing. If they're a passive retail user, they want to come and play your game. They don't want to have to go through a long setup process to get there. You caught them into your sphere with some marketing that got them interested in coming and playing the game. So you want to make it as easy as possible for them to come in, set up their account, play their game, and get their assets, have a wallet to get their assets in, give them some free assets to start.
The irony is once you set up an actual BNS and decentralized ID with an actual wallet, your authentication flow for all apps that are integrated with Stacks is universally more seamless, less friction. Everything about it is better because you don't have to constantly create a fucking account with every app. You don't have to constantly, it's literally, you know, the sign in with Google, the sign in with Facebook logic, you know, where you sign in with your account, that's smoothed over because the account is abstracted. That's what this does. You know, when you sign in with a wallet, it does it just in a way that is self-sovereign. And the only hoop there is the users do have to take a little bit more ownership over their identities. This is, you know, the crux of the matter, you know, when it comes to the onboarding, right? So, you know, I think that if the reward, if the situation that the user is being offered is, I guess you'd say trivial, then yes, lower the friction as much as possible. So but the less trivial it is, and the more, you know, like unique and uniquely valued. And
so imagine this.
That I don't think that's as big of a problem.
You have a non-crypto native user. Mm-hmm. They want to come into your app. Mm-hmm. Your onboarding gives them a pass key, sets up a BNS name for them. Now they have a wallet with the BNS name. They have their ID. They have the pass key. Everything else can be executed later. The BNS name is their gamer tag. So it's part of the gamers, you know, it's part of the setup experience, their username, whatever. They get a pass key, they get a BNS name, then they have the wallet. That wallet is an extension wallet. It can actually work with anyone. It automatically has their BNS name now, so they're also tied to a BNS. They have control over it with the pass key. Further experiences through the app can even introduce the security, like as they actually add funds to buy assets. You go through those best practices and you keep reiterating them. So you're giving them both the seamless onboarding experience, but as they get to a certain threshold of risk, you're providing them with more education, both in security and in just the sovereignty side of it, that they are responsible for this. You know, I think that's I'm thinking now it even makes sense, like for BNS to adopt this policy, because I can drive people to BNS. They don't need to get a leather wallet first. They don't need to fund a wallet first. I can actually send them to BNS. They can get the smart wallet while they're buying, in the process of buying their BNS with a debit card. Now it's onboarding fiat into Stacks, into the Bitcoin ecosystem. It's doing transactional volume on chain. It's helping out BNS. They're selling a BNS name. And it's creating a user experience that's way easier than, before you do any of this, you got to go to this link and download a wallet and write down your seed phrase and then fund it. Like, it's, if you can abstract that friction from the initial experience, you're going to have a lot more people completing that process as the first.
I mean, I'm not saying it's not worth it in lots of scenarios. to me, there's a balance between trying to appease the user's laziness versus advancing technology, innovation, and civilization itself. Yeah, like I like to be blunt. I don't want lazy users. Those fucking suck. To support, I've dealt with those all my life as a technical support and nerd and like an admin and assistant. Like a lazy user will bleed your ass dry. Straight up, they will. So, I will build for users that are proactive, that want to help themselves. I will ride in the trenches and die with those motherfuckers, but I will not support users that are literally wanting to self-sabotage out the gate. Like, that's crazy.
Literally.
I get it. There is a need for it to a certain extent, but I want to teach the users how to fish. I don't want to just give them a fish.
If they're going to use your app, I don't care how lazy they are in real life. To be honest, I don't see that. I don't see that being a counter.
Well, if they're too lazy to write down 24 words, do you really think that they're going to be adding much value?
So,
as an app developer, as an owner of a platform, right? My perspective would be, I want them to have a good experience on the platform. However, I can make that happen for them, and if
not at the cost of their own security, though.
It's not necessary. It's not. It's not at the cost of their security.
Yeah. I mean, it is if they buy in and then all of a sudden they lose access to their email and they didn't back up their fucking private key. What happens? They're going to come to you for support. And you're going to be like, "Well, I'm sorry, you're shit out of luck." And now it puts you in a dev as a very precarious position.
Well, their bank account's insured, so they could just use fiat. What's the point? Why do we need Web3 at all then? It's less secure, right? That's the trade-off. Is the
Web3 is way more secure when you actually finally let go of Web2. It really is.
Well,
when you try to bridge Web2 and salvage Web2 all the way to the point where you're watering down the value proposition of Web3, then yes, Web3 becomes less secure because you've turned Web3 back into Web2. Like, trust me, man, I've been doing this authentication thing and the security model for quite a long time, and you're trading the friction there in abstracting the authority back to these third parties for the key management. And the moment you do that, you're going to guarantee have people fall through a crack where they didn't back up their private key before they lost access to their email or whatever authentication method you were facilitating through your passkey. So like it's all about the backup. Can you back it up or not? How is the user backing it up? And if the user's backing up through an email service provider, they're ruggable.
But if you don't have any
backing up through a private key, they're good to go.
But if you don't have any users, it doesn't matter.
I get what you're saying, but users that are lazy are not really users anyways, to be honest.
That's not so. It's not laziness. It's a lack of people don't understand.
When you click connect and it says, "Oh, I don't have this wallet to connect with," and it says install or connect depending on the state of whether or not the wallet's detected in. It's not like the friction's there. The friction is removed. You literally click connect. Oh, I don't have wallet installed. I need to install wallet. I need to create a wallet. Now I can connect.
That is friction.
That is the difference as a passkey. What about the user that doesn't have passkey then?
But most
they have the same friction.
More non-crypto native users know what a passkey is than they do what installing a wallet is, and it takes less time. It's less friction. It is less friction. It's a limiting of friction. It just is what it is, man. I'm not trying to.
I don't use passkey.
What's that?
I don't use passkey. I don't know one person personally that does.
Well, you've never used a passkey for anything?
No, I know what passkey is. I don't use passkey though.
Oh, but it's
because it's just another layer of abstraction that is outside of my control and my authority.
Sure.
So why would I want to put myself in that position?
It makes your life easier. And it's not all. So here's the
Gen
thing.
Z.
When you're building an app to serve a broad base of users, you want to build it to what they want, not what you prefer. Because
but I get that, but I also build for what I want.
Sure, but
I don't just build selflessly.
you don't just build what?
Selflessly.
Well, no, but you want people to use the app. It's not selfless.
Yeah, but I want them to use the app the right way. Like if that's like creating like a third-person shooter, and then because the game is flooded with aimbotters, well, just give everybody aimbot. It's not really a shooter anymore at that point. It's an aimbot simulator or something. It's different. It's not the original design thesis.
Well, but that's not this. That's
sure it's a game,
right, but that's not a. So if the friction point there is that people are botting and giving themselves capacity to make it a bad game experience for people that aren't using that, the friction would be to eliminate the capacity for those people to do that, so that you're making a good experience for your regular users. Otherwise, and if people are cheating, then you don't want them on this.
That's what passkey is. It's cheating. It's calling it Web3 when it's not.
It's not what it is.
It's not Web3 though.
It's just, of course it is. There's nothing about Web3 that says you have to use seed phrases.
You should own your private keys. If you don't own your private keys, then you're not owning.
Well, but that's actually right now the
ownership. It's self-sovereignty. The whole freaking point of blockchains and Bitcoin and all that is self-sovereignty and ownership. And if we water down the definition of ownership for convenience, then we have lost the plot.
But you own the passkey when you have a passkey. Right now, the passkey is through Privy, which is a third party that's got control of your keys, and that's absolutely a valid.
That's an enclave. Yeah, those are enclaves.
Right. It's not self-ownership. But if you're using,
the more it lands back into the actual user for the ownership of the backup and where the actual key lives, the more I'm on board. But the moment it goes from away from the user's hands into somebody else's hands, and it becomes a trust me, bro type of scenario. I'm like,
that's why we're talking about different. We're talking about the onboarding funnel, not how we want it to be for every user on Web3. We're talking about removing friction so that you can create a good user experience to onboard people into the ecosystem, and then you have them as part of your sphere. Then you can educate them on the other use cases, the ideology behind why we're here. We're on the same page as far as self-custody.
Yeah, I'm not saying we're not.
We're very aligned on our.
I'm just trying to make sure that people understand the risks involved.
Sure, no, it's not. Yeah. It is absolutely. It is not the same as writing your keys down. It's somewhere between keeping your Bitcoin on Coinbase and having it. It's somewhere in between keeping your Bitcoin.
I agree with that.
On having
we have 2.5.
Yeah,
that's all.
My Bitcoin on Coinbase.
It's almost. It's better than Web 2, but it's not as good as Web 3.
There's going to be a lot of people to teach you about self-custody and self-sovereignty.
It's bridging the gap is actually what it is, though.
True. I mean, I can't deny that. It's exposing the layman to a more deeper concepts of what it means to have authentication, permission and all that. So
yeah, I think that it has, like I said, it has its ups and downs, right? You're kind of giving a little bit of something else to gain something else. So it's got a give and take to it, and I do believe that it's somewhere in between hoodies. It's a little less centralized than that, but it's still
the ideal scenario for me is, obviously low friction, and more users, but obviously as well as much preservation of the user's individual responsibility as possible in there, and not trying to offload that responsibility to a third party.
Yeah, it's not really about offloading their responsibility as much as it is getting
or delaying the ownership of it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because like if they get in a comfortable scenario, then they don't go through the backup plan, and then they get too much money on there. Then they all of a sudden, oops, I lost access. Like I don't want people to get turned off by it because they weren't educated properly, and grew a little too comfortable without doing the due diligence.
That's a fair concern. That's why there does need to be a lot of education or just promoting of best practices, making sure people know. And this is, like I said, I don't know that onboarding people into a Bitcoin leverage app is really like
education. Like some sort of edufy app where you're educating the user and paying the user to go, maybe start them out with what we're talking about, the key pass logic to onboard them real quick and easy, right? And then reward them for actually going through the ropes of creating an actual wallet. Get the leather installed, have them prove that basically and reward that, and then they've essentially onboarded themselves and rewarded themselves at the probably is a
you could create a whole series of quests for something like that.
Exactly, and that could lead to discovery of other apps, etc. So there's most definitely a value here. I'm not denying that. I just don't want people to focus so much on the friction side of things when that will solve itself. You know what I'm saying? Almost like the thing that really needs to be solved is like, what do you do when you get through the door? Like, go locking your funds in something
is experience that's getting them through the door. What is the experience getting them through the
door? Some type of app, or website, like an app that, hey, it takes you here to all of your information that you want to share, what gets you a BNS, get that up with a Leather wallet, like all of that. And these types of passkey wallets can be kind of like a mediary. You're going to transact a little bit today, but you keep most of your funds on like your wallet with your seed phrases, right? And I feel like that is kind of like the education process that's going to go behind it. You're going to get, here's your foot in the door, and then let's learn about seed phrases and self-custody.
Exactly. And then once they prove they have, understanding of that, have that installed, and you confirm they have it backed up, provide a new public payment address, they get rewarded at that new public payment address.
Right.
And so they have a direct incentive to actually make sure that's legit to get that reward. So
yes,
education fi is huge. I think
words.
Yeah, I think it's all in the right direction. Getting users to give more of a shit about their finances and individual responsibility, and like also collective responsibility for the shared, commons that we have to kind of manage as a collective. Like there is a lot of tools now available as for humans that have never been available before, for us to have a better, more prosperous society if we just play our cards right. So I think it's just as easy as that.
There's a lot of work to get there, actually.
Yeah, I made that sound so right there. Just as easy as that.
There's a lot of work to get. That's what we're all here for, though, right? I mean, we're all trying to get to that point. I think we all kind of understand that there's a great imbalance right now between the capacity of the individual to just exist and the imposition of governmental structures, right? And the weight that they bring. We need a rebalancing of that. And we're kind of building out the tools to make that possible right now. And I totally understand from that perspective, your concern with
my concern is just based
abstracting, throwing out the baby with the bathwater. I can appreciate that.
Yeah. I'm just, we've seen centralized authorities abuse their
power, and we've also seen laziness bite people in the ass. That we've seen that pattern happen a lot in history. So, the Twitter thing that recently happened.
It's a perfect example.
You're muted, dude.
Yeah, it's a
sentence. I don't know if it was sounded like he might have had something going on in the house.
yeah. But yeah, those API keys getting stripped from those developers and whole blockchains getting kind of rugged basically because InfoFi just kind of got banned on Twitter, so to speak, because they were relying on that Twitter API.
Well, you know what though? That was actually like, looking back at it now, and I was actually doing great with some of those metrics. I don't have the time to really follow and or try to farm anymore.
Yeah.
I may or may not have been I may or may not have been able to claim something. I never got to that point because I have too much other stuff going on. But looking at it now, it was creating a lot of bullshit. It was incentivizing people to just comment about stuff that they didn't even really care about.
Yeah, their tokenomics model was all fucked up, that's for sure. And it was obviously provably fucked up when they were so easily drugged by their API dependency being revoked and having such a catastrophic effect on their value proposition, right? So I do find it ironic though that basically, it's not the first time Twitter has done that to a bunch of fucking developers. Jack Dorsey did that back in the day with Twitter when they had a more open API and people were building different Twitter clients that were essentially adding better features than the native Twitter experience, and that was impeding their profit margins from an advertiser model. So basically, there was a malformed alignment between the developers that are using their API service and the actual platform.
Was that the motivation back then, or was it really more of a privacy issue because user data was able to be pulled out of the API and associated with people on, like, because there was a while where like my CRM for real estate would give me people's Twitter accounts, their Facebook accounts, all their social media stuff. I could go get that from somebody's name and address.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's the justification they used to did they stop selling that data? Was that data no longer available? No. Of course not. They just made it to where your ability to get access to that data was now a big premium. That's what introduced they slowly gave some of those features back at a higher tier access of an API, but they didn't give everything back. And not only that, you've witnessed what will happen when you leverage that API to an extent that they don't like. Basically, it's pretty like, basically it's kind of an inversion of their value proposition. They're like, hey, we're a social network until you're saying stuff that we don't like, and then it's nope, that's spam. But even though we can hide spam, they have the ability to hide spam. The developers were paying a premium to cover the bandwidth. Presumably, I would assume, why, if they're not priced that way, then why the hell are they even offering the API service? That makes no sense. And so, basically they use the spam as cover to justify what in my opinion is speech they didn't like. If people don't like it, they can mute them. If they don't like it, they can mute it globally. So like they were, I don't know. It felt like disingenuous on their reasoning on why they did it. Because like, if you just kind of look back at the arc of the internet, the original design thesis of the internet wasn't expression. It was just all about coordination, right? And, all to reduce the cost, all reduce the cost of organizing people, basically. So early social networks kind of inherited that premise, and they didn't just let you speak. They let you find and align and act with other people. And that's why they were so disruptive.
coordinating. Basically, you're allowed to coordinate, but that coordination basically led to destabilization of centralized powers, obviously, and so platforms basically slowly re-architected their entire value proposition around a safer primitive, basically, which is broadcasting without agency. You're not banning. They're not banning speech. Basically, they're just basically targeting the layer right after speech, which is the incentives and the follow through and the synchronization. So
So Derupt. That's why.
So Derupt is a design thesis that helps combat that, right? And BoostX leverages the same thesis, but it's all based on skin in the game. Bots are going to have a hard time scaling with spam, so to speak, right? If there's skin in the game to post, if there's skin in the game to have to engage, basically, and then that does a lot. Then that also can help lift the burden out of the dependency of the platform from advertiser dollars too. Like, there's a lot of benefits to doing it this way, and I'd be
so how do we, like, because honestly, man, and I know, like, it may not be called it may not be called Derupt by the time it becomes a big platform, but we do need, like, I agree with everything you're saying. Like, Twitter or X is the best of a terrible bunch of options as far as social media, because it's centralized, it's closed source, it's not a public utility, it's a for-profit model, which there's nothing wrong with profit-driven motives, but it's a centralized, controlled system profit model. Yeah, utilizing the value that other people create and stealing it from them.
Yeah, they're all very similar. They're all neutered networks. Basically, they have no meaningful scale to organizing. You have no ownership over relationships as a user. You have no durable collective leverage as users. You're basically you only get engagement and extraction, basically. So that's where leveraging power, the power of Bitcoin, the power of stacks, can really make a difference, actually.
I agree. So we just need to figure out. So we just got to give you more runway to build out your model, I think, is really what it boils down to.
Wait, say that again?
We need to give you more runway to build out your model.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, I'm down with that. So yeah, Derupt is most definitely probably not the brand name that the decentralized content network could go under, but like that, this is there's not going to be a centralized solution. There's not going to be a singular solution. That's about facilitating a change in mental model, so that way you can the actual software model can also be updated, right? Because most people have a hard time just conceptualizing decentralized systems to begin with.
Yes, I agree. It's not, well, because all of the models we have are centralized. That's the model that people are familiar with. So they can't, it's hard to comprehend something that's different than how we do it now. But I would definitely agree that we need more decentralized organization. Mm-hmm. Or de-organization, if you will.
Yeah, de-organization, yes. Right. Decentralized eruptions too. Right? Yeah. So it's kind of ironic though, if you really think about it, like what it's the evolution of the internet, like it's this kind of like the net result of your generations of engineering, right? Kind of landing in our lap, and we now basically use it to click likes on memes and stuff, instead of leveraging it for what it could be leveraged for, which is affecting change in significant manners with very little effort by the individual, because we can collectively do it and coordinate our effort. And so I think
multi-sig plays a huge part in that. Crowdfund stacks, pots plays a huge part in that. Stacks and Bitcoin obviously play a huge part in that. BoostX plays a huge part in that. It's shameless shield time there, sorry. But, you know.
Nothing shameless about it, baby.
Let's go. Yeah. And so, you know, the choice is pretty simple. It's either, you know, get busy building and being free, or get busy being owned and owning nothing.
Yeah, I love it, man. Dude, you're always welcome. It's actually been way too long. We need to make you you got to come on more often. Love chatting with you, love chopping it up with you. I know it's a little early for you, so I appreciate it. I hope you got some sleep. Or you I'm sure.
You know,
I was hammering on what I just showed
Does
you
he
guys.
ever sleep?
The timeline, I literally
Does he
hammered
ever
all night.
sleep?
There's a reason why he won the stacky for
Stacks
it.
devs don't sleep. Stacks devs.
Because the time that I go to sleep, he's online. The time that I wake up, you'll be online. So this guy never sleeps.
Guy never sleeps. But yeah, man, I love, obviously a huge fan of what you're doing. Love BoostX, love the functionality. OG supporter. I love the stacks pots concept. I apologize for being a little bit absent as far as being available to test it out. It's something it's been on my agenda. I just haven't gotten this. Now I actually have.
It's fine. Each test we've done with it so far has led to insightful updates. So you know, I'm sure there'll be, you know, a couple more on testnet, probably a couple more small ones on mainnet, just to iron out the UI and iron out the kinks and make sure it's all gravy. But then it'll scale up from there.
I dig it, man. I dig it. Anything else you should let us know about before we wrap up, or we should let everybody else know about?
Yeah, go check out dcast.io if you're a streamer. You want a screen overlay for your OBS, and you want basically to let people know when you're receiving some stacks, you know, some STX tips while you're streaming. A little stream overlay service.
DECAST.io.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's go. Awesome. Yeah, that's right. I forgot there was something else you were doing.
There's a couple other things too. I won't plug them right now.
No, that's all right. You feel free to, but honestly, man, I'm happy to have you anytime. We definitely would love to have you back again more often, not just one more time, you know.
I'll be back in it. Don't worry.
You're always welcome. Feel free to jump in. You don't even need to ask GP's permission first, although you're always welcome.
Yeah. Come kick it, dude. Come shoot the breeze with us.
GP, what do you got going on today?
Yeah, in the Stacking DAO Discord, we're getting together for our weekly Pokemon TCG Pocket tournament. We're gonna have some fun playing that, and later on probably be live in either the Zest Protocol or Stacking DAO Discords, or maybe even the Cryptonauts Discord. Never know. Somewhere in there, and probably in a few spaces at the same time.
Somewhere in there, like swimwear.
In there, like swimwear. We're so early that it hurts.
How about you, Hunter? What do you got? You dropping another 6th song today? What's on your agenda for today?
Oh yeah, I'm pushing the video. The video is officially out. To those who haven't watched it, go watch it on my YouTube. So we are going to apply pressure. Yeah, it's Bright 360. Yeah, and the comeback is going to be biblical. That's the motto.
Let's go. Don't wait. What is it? Don't quit. Apply pressure.
Yeah, don't give up. Apply pressure.
Don't give up. Apply pressure. That's what you got to do. Let's go. Thank you guys again. Always a pleasure chatting up with the guys. Super great episode with Crypto Dude joining us. Absolute Chad. By the way, I love the back and forth and the challenging conversation. I really do. That's what I live for, man. I know it's all with love and respect and
exactly
from my side as well. And this is how we actually come to
each other on our toes.
This is and how we come to solutions that actually fit a broader range of perspectives. So I love it. Please don't be a stranger. It was great stuff. I am Peace Love Music. We are I got to mention the Bitcoin Pepe space at 11 a.m. I will be in there. The best Pepe, the orange frog. It's the only Pepe coin you need to know about. Touch grass with us at 11 a.m. And I am Peace Love Music. We are DeOrganized Media coming at you live on Bitcoin Live Decentralized Broadcast.
My hands are doing that too, guys. You just can't see that. Woo!
every Monday through Friday.
Later, guys.
I'll have a blessed day. I'll see you later. Peace out.
Smile away, boys. Smile away. Nashe.
We have too much fun.
Peace.
Mike and let us know where you stack. From the underworld, the game master arrives, bringing the games that satisfy the hive. Hunters come running, it keeps them alive, scouring the planet for the treasure.